congratulate him because of his victory. This is the time, we say that democracy dictates our affairs here in Kenya. And we have seen our democracy prevailing well from the Supreme Court and the verdict that has been given today by Her Excellency Martha Koome. It is one of its kind. And we want to thank everyone. I want to thank Kenyans for maintaining peace. And we want to urge all the political leaders that have been elected. Now elections is over. What we need, it is service delivery to the people. We are not going again to the elections, and we want to tell the parliament, the upper parliament and the lower parliament, that when they resume their duties, they need to work together. We do not want to see a divided nation. This country needs these leaders. We need them to do policies, to formulate policies, so that we as citizens, we can benefit from them. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Dan, earlier on we saw General Service Unit officers patrolling the Central Business District, but what we can report at this time and moment is that this general businesses are operating as usual, but we will still be conducting a spot check across all the 6 sub-counties and also monitoring the activities happening across the coastal belt, and for sure we will be bringing you up to speed regarding today's verdict delivered by the Supreme Court and confirming that Ruto's win was legitimate, and of course also Kenyans from this side of the country looking forward to now the president-elect delivering on the promises that he promised Kenyans while campaigning, not only from here in Mombasa but the 6 coastal counties at large. Back to you, Dan, in studio.
Thank you very much, Kevin Mutai, for that. And we are keeping our eyes trained on Karen, the Deputy President's residence, where the president-elect is expected to be speaking any time now. The indications are that it's not going to be too long from now. We can already see a number of the Kenya Kwanza leaders who are already seated. We could see ANC party leader, Musalia Mudavadi, who is also, according to the agreement they have, the incoming chief cabinet secretary. We also see Alfred Mutua, who is now the former governor of Machakos. We see there Farouk, who is, one of the incoming president's aides, and we could see a number of the other leaders. The excitement there is also, visible, tangible. Everyone is pretty much on phone as they have their conversation. So we are training our eyes there and just looking to see what the next president of the Republic of Kenya is going to be telling the people. Presumably also the Deputy President-elect may be speaking as well.
Right. You can see Aden Duale, you can see Moses Wetangula. We did see Emerson Kingi, we saw Kenneth Lusaka there. All those leaders, of course, affiliated to the Kenya Kwanza Alliance team, seated and are waiting for the president-elect to make his way to the podium to address the nation. Well, just a little bit away from that, back to in studio. I mean, Bwana Khalid, when we're looking at this particular ruling, what does it mean for a country when it comes to the maturity of our democracy and where we sit on how the other people would be looking at us, regionally speaking, and even globally?
Indeed, Zainab, I think this has been a major test for us as a country, not just for our democracy, but also for our justice system. Many people in many other, dispensations would imagine that, a side that is together with the sitting president can never lose, But here we are today. We have seen how independent the judiciary is. They have made a ruling that may appear to be going against the executive. We have a situation where you have a president whose preferred candidate has not carried the day, and you're already seeing statements from, the loser or the candidate who has lost saying, we accept. Yes, we disagree, but we accept. And as Wakili has said here, a court of law is driven by evidence that is presented before it. And we've seen words that have been used by the Supreme Court, words such as disproved, not convinced, not mathematically sound. Basically what they were saying was that, what was presented before them did not stand the test of evidence that is required, to quash or to overturn the decision that was presented by IEBC. And sometimes a court of law is not necessarily a court of justice. This is what the losing side has said. Yes, we agree, we accept that decision, but we disagree with what has been presented before us.
So
and
that's what I was asking before. Do you feel then that Azimio had a weak case in court?
For me, as Wakili said, it's not about the case being weak. It's about the evidence that was adduced before the court. That is what was weak. Because
so they had a good case, but the execution is the problem.
Exactly. That is what I would say, that the execution was not up to the level of the standard that is required in a Supreme Court. This is where you have weighty issues. And as the others were presenting evidence, you'd see the words that have been used. Forgery, for example. You don't expect that, because that's a place where every bit of document that is presented will be scrutinized, to the very last point. So whatever you present, you have to cross the T's and dot the I's so that you make sure that, everything is sound. But for me, I think their strategy was wrong. The sources they used to present the evidence was not sound. And in that, they lost the case. So it's a big defeat for them, and I think also for the lawyers that were there. But as we said, we have to move forward. This is a country that is, has one of the best constitutions around, and we must respect the law, and we accept the decision, and we move forward.
Right. Yes,
Can I?
Ishmael.
You see, the Supreme Court did not want to be too nice to the petitioners and then let down citizens. That's why you had the CJ saying, can we, on certain small, flimsy allegations, overturn the will of the people? So I think it was a very important finding and a very good time for the country to assert that you cannot go to the Supreme Court with petty, trivial issues. You will go to the Supreme Court, and definitely the Supreme Court will hear you on weighty, substantiated and credible evidence. You asked my colleague, and I just want to weigh in, how do we look in the face of the region and the international global scene? We look very beautiful. We look wonderful, because, if we don't go to fight as an African nation and we deliver our results to the counting center and we disagree and then we go to the Supreme Court, this happens in the Americas. In the United States, you've seen where presidents go there to argue that really my votes were actually stolen. We saw that in Biden, in Obama's time, in George Bush. Why? Because we are human. We always feel like if you used a system, and I suspect you've been making calls to a certain quarter, then probably you were being helped by that system. So I think we have come a long way as a country, and Kenya should now be rated among the top African countries that can actually agree on books, on the constitutionalism and on laws. We are good to go. So this is not just against Raila Odinga. I think this should sit down well in the Kenyan hearts. William Ruto, the president of this republic, will be judged squarely on this same constitution, same parameters. It's not like it's a favor they've done to him. He won, and the Supreme Court has confirmed squarely, yes, he won, but he will also abide by the constitution. And I expect him, when he comes to give the national address, to completely bring people together, heal the nation, because there was a divide of 6.9 and 7.1. He should heal people and walk the way he promised in the campaigns, that I will not victimize, I am not after so-and-so, I need to build the nation. I think that's what I expect from him.
Yes,
I think for me also, the next couple of hours, a day or two, are extremely crucial. We have received this information. It's up to Kenyans to now show that, the democracy that we believe in, the judiciary that we believe in, we will continue to believe in that. And as he said, let us not be vengeful. This is not the time to now start asking people to be transferred, as we've seen one or two statements in the past. This is the time to heal the nation now. We must come together and ensure that, we remain peaceful. Key, we have to be peaceful. We are split in between. The new president who's coming in now has a huge task of uniting the people so that we move forward as a country. So the next couple of hours, when we are celebrating, let us be humble in our celebration. When we are sad that we've lost, let us also, accept that, you can lose in this process, and that does not mean that democracy has lost. Democracy has won. Let us work together. Let us move together so that we can, keep up that standard that we have so far, maintain it at that level.
All right. I just want to go back a little bit to still the strategy when it comes to the petitions. We saw the petitioners lodge, about 8 to 9 petitions in the Supreme Court. This is also a strategy by the petitioners, but that was consolidated. Do you think perhaps, Ishmael, this worked against the main petitioners, who is Raila Odinga and Martha Karua?
Yeah, initially we thought that was a good strategy to try to throw everybody into the respondent, so to say a defendant. They are going to defend themselves, including the commissioners, the 4 commissioners. But the court was not convinced by that strategy, because then the court should have said that we find that maybe the commissioners, had a case. We find that the allegations on the system were true. So when I said strategy on my side, what I mean is, when you go to court, how you get the evidence, it's not the problem of the court. It is your problem. If you allege something, how you get the documentation, even when the court ordered open the servers, if the servers are not opened, to be honest, it's not the problem of the court, because you have taken a case to court because you suspect 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now the court wants to see the 4 points. If they can't see the 4 points, their hands are completely tied. Yeah. They have to return a verdict saying, yes, you say that the system is bad. We really believe your oratory and your explanation. But now, when it comes to whether you showed tangible, cogent evidence, document-wise, collaborated by those affidavits, by respectable people, this did not happen in the... At least we think it happened, yes, that's what James Orengo is trying to say, but the court is saying, no, they were not satisfied that there was enough evidence. So they lacked that bit of strategy of presenting the technical and the kind of evidence that the court needed.
All right. And I think before continue, Dan, I think the excitement in Saga is still ongoing, and we're also still keeping tabs with what is happening at Karen, in Karen?
Yes, and in Karen you could see those are some of the members of the legal team. Pretty much the guys who have brought the victory home, right? Who have arrived, from the Supreme Court, and they've now arrived at Karen. You could see that they're being given special seats. I mean, for them, this victory is pretty much... I mean,
they literally drove the victory home.
Exactly. And so I believe they're going to be honored in some way by the president-elect. As the people from his hometown are there, in their celebrations. And interesting that, Ishmael, that we've not heard anything from the outgoing president. Right from when IBC made the declaration in regards to any congratulatory message, or do you presume that he was waiting until this happened?
Get direction from our presidential candidate, His Excellency Raila Odinga. Thank you.
And probably you can, when I look around, I can see the normalcy, just people are going about their businesses as usual. This is probably not the scenario, maybe in a few electoral cycles. What has changed?
Nothing much have changed. If you are so keen, if you look at... ...2017, 2013. We supporters of Raila Odinga, what we do, we wait for him to speak to us. So whatever Raila will say, that is the direction we shall take. If he says, let us move on, it is okay. If he gives us another direction, that is it. And that is why you can see things are very normal. We are still waiting for him. Okay. Thank you.
What is your message to the rest of Kenyans?
What I want to tell Kenyans, let us now respect the opinion of the Supreme Court. But again, in the opinion of the public, we are not convinced based on the evidence that we saw live on our television sets. Thank you.
All right. Regina, I have a few more to interview and get the reactions regarding the verdict that was delivered. You can just come on set and look into the camera and tell us your name and what did you expect out from the ruling today, and has it gone according to your expectation?
Okay, thank you. My name is Joseph Oyamo. I'm a resident of this place, Bondo Town. Yes. Having said that, today's ruling by the Supreme Court has actually come out as a surprise. Yes, as supporters of Azimio here in his very backyard, we were expecting that he could win because people turned out and voted for him massively. But of course, the result that was released by the IBC was not convincing, and there was the case in the court that followed. And by the evidences that we saw the legal team producing before the court, they were kind of convincing. But now, as we have just seen, every petition that was placed before the court has been dismissed, and the result is out. Yeah, we just have to accept. Yeah, in as much as we may not agree, but we accept. Yeah.
As an individual, how are you going to treat this, and what message do you have for the rest of Kenyans, especially probably those that reside in these parts of the country?
Oh, as an individual, Kenya is bigger than myself. Yes, and the decision, once it has been made by the Apex Court, there's nothing much that I can do. As I've said, I've accepted, and I'll continue with my day-to-day activities, and even to other people who have been showing their full support to Raila Odinga. I would just like to urge you to resume to your daily activities. There's nothing much we can do. If at all there is anything, Raila with his team will actually give us direction. Yeah, I know he may talk today or tomorrow. Once he had talked, I think he will advise us. But as individual, let us also make decisions that are helpful to us and to our country. Yes, let us not get into violence. Yeah.
As a resident of this region, probably what do you expect from the regime that is coming in?
The regime that is coming in, of course, for a very long time, this region has been in opposition, and as a result, there has not been much development as compared to the areas that have been in government. So probably I will expect the same, but if something happens, maybe I can be proven wrong if I can see new developments. But as we can see, the place, as you compare with other places that leaders have been supporting the government, there's a substantial difference on development. Yeah, so I would expect the same, but maybe this one may be different. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ben Trenjue, those are some of the reactions from the residents of Bondo Town. Like you've heard from the two that I've just spoken with, is that they're mentioning that they will respect the decision of the court that has upheld the victory of William Ruto in the August 9th presidential election. And what they are calling upon is for the electorate here, or rather the residents of this region, to be specific, to uphold, or rather to make such to respect the decision of the court and work with the government of the day, actually, because the president of Kenya is a president of every Kenyan, of everybody within the Kenyan borders, and that has actually been the call from the residents that have been able to speak with in this region. Maybe something that I have to mention is the security situation in the county here, in this region rather. Before I came on set, actually I spoke with the Siaya County Police Commander regarding the security situation in the county, and he has assured me that, or rather, he has mentioned that up to now there is nothing actually to report about, that everything is normal, and that is visible from the background. Like you can see, Ben Troy Njue, this is just like another day to the residents of Kisumu here. There is no much excitement. There is not all that gloom actually. It is just normal, and that reflects whatever you're seeing on the background. That reflects what has been happening actually in the larger Siaya County, which is the home county of Raila Odinga. The residents here are saying they will maintain peace, they will work with the government of the day, but then what they are calling upon the next regime is also to run an inclusive government. Well, I'll continue speaking with the rest of the residents and sample their views and reactions, and all that will come to our viewers exclusively in our next bulletins. Back to you, Ben.
Thank you, Wycliffe Okech from Bondo there, and as you have seen, and as he has alluded to, is that no pomp, no color. Their residents continuing with their day-to-day activities and saying that let's respect the apex court. Of course, they do not agree with it, but let's respect that so that we may go on. Then from Bondo, let's now cross over here to the capital city, Nairobi, where Hibak Said has been keeping a keen eye since morning at the CBD just to see how things are. Of course, earlier on, security had been beefed up. There was some screen mounted in various parts of the CBD. How are things now, Hibak?
Thank you, Ben Troy Njue. We are still here at the Central Business District, and just an update from when we last spoke. Now, people here have been waiting for 12 p.m. or 12 noon to hear what exactly the Supreme Court would say and what exactly the judgment would be. At around 1 p.m. when the judgment came out, people were in jubilation. Just a few minutes ago here at the Central Business District Archives, we saw a lot of people. They were gathered around. They were jubilant. They were talking about how they're very happy with what has come. But the message that prevailed was peace. A lot of Kenyans just want peace. The businesses are continuing as they have been. And maybe we could just talk to you as a person who was supporting or in support of the president-elect. Mlikuja hapa, mkapiga mbwembwe, you guys had a lot of fun. What exactly was your feeling when you heard what the Supreme Court had to say?
Okay, kwanza kwa majina naitwa Kiprono James. Nataka nishukuru Bwana Chebukati, Martha Koome kwa ruling yenye leo wameifanya. And then nataka nishukuru tena wa Kenya vile wame keep peace, kila kitu inaendelea, na si wote ni mandugu na si wote ni ma sisters. So nataka niwaambie bwana rais elect William Ruto wasalimiane na Raila, waongee pamoja kinauru, si wote ni ndugu moja. Alafu Kenya iende mbele, na tena nishukuru wananchi kwa sababu wameiweka hii nchi iwe funzo kwa nchi zingine kwa amani ambao wameiweka. Asante sana.
Now, that is just one side of the coin, Ben Troy. You hear the people are they want peace, they want coordination, they want cooperation. And maybe for the Azimio side, they also had you had your own side, you had your own story, you wanted your own ruling. However, the ruling was the president-elect would be Ruto, or rather the president, or rather the elections would be upheld. What exactly were your thoughts?
Okay, my thoughts, I think my name is Francis Kigadi. I was a Azimio party, and today is my bad day. Let me say my bad day or a good day, because sikuwa na tarajia Martha Koome ata announce Ruto, but kwa sababu ana announce Ruto, mimi kama mfuasi wa baba nimesha kubali kushindwa, na nimesema baba tarehe kesho asubuhi nitakuja kwake pale Karen. Mimi mwenyewe nimetoka huko kijiji inaitwa Kingston, nitaenda kwake nimpeleke bodo, hata kama ni fair nimekubali kutoa fare yangu tuende nyumbani pamoja, juu asiyekubali kushindwa sio mshindani, na ninaomba wachikane mkono hivi tuende kama tujenge nchi pamoja. Asante sana KBC, Kenya ni moja.
That is the picture that Kenyans here at Nairobi are sending to you, Ben Troy, and are sending to other Kenyans. People want peace, people want cooperation, and they're okay with the judgment that has been made. Now, back to you in studio, Ben Troy.
Thank you so much, Hibak Said, there with two supporters, one of Azimio and the other happens to be a Kenya Kwanza, and they've talked about their handshake. And I think this is what we have been talking about as Kenyans. Let's wait for the Apex Court. The Apex Court has delivered its judgment, and now it's for us to embrace it and move forward. Look at the economy, the battered economy. Look at the high cost of living. Those are some of the issues that are affecting each and every Kenyan, despite your political divide. That was Nairobi CBD. We are keeping a keen eye on various parts of the country, and looking at your screen, what you're seeing is another venue that we are giving a keen eye, and we have been doing so the better part of the morning there. That is the Deputy President residence, where President-elect will be addressing Kenyans from. And as you have seen, is that we have seen that a lot of leaders have already gotten to that. We'll be crossing over there. But on your screen is my colleague Simon Achola, straight all the way from Kisumu. Achola, how has things been there?
Thank you very much, Ben Troy and Joey. Here in Kisumu, everything is a bit calm, much more than you would expect. Where I'm standing, I'm just standing next to Oginga Odinga Street. Now, 5 years ago, this street was a beehive of activities on a day like this, when the Supreme Court had annulled the then presidential election. All residents had actually gathered along the streets and were celebrating. I remember very well that we were standing where we are actually standing, and we could barely move because of the number of people that had actually poured on these streets in terms of celebration. But today, the situation is pretty much different from what we saw several years back. What we have seen today is that the locals are calm, cool and collected. They are going about their business. A number of businesses have actually been closed for obvious reasons. We have actually tried as much as we can to engage a number of locals here. We were in Kondele early in the morning and the better part of mid-morning. And what happened is that the locals there actually were very categorical with us and told us that they didn't want the media around that place because they felt that just the mere presence of the media in that place would actually attract huge or large crowds in that particular place, and that they had said might actually turn into chaos. So they wanted to have their peace of mind as they reflect on exactly what Supreme Court has actually delivered today. We have actually also gone to various bunge la wananchi, the small groups that actually gather around town to discuss political issues and of course current affairs in this particular CBD, and most of them have actually turned us away, and they are saying that they want to reflect on today's Supreme Court ruling, and most of them are also of the opinion that they want to maintain peace and order, and they wouldn't like a situation where people are actually gathering and they feel that probably too much gathering might actually flare up a situation. However, Ben, Troy, Joey, where we are at now as I've said, we are along Oginga Odinga Street, and there are a number of boda riders who've actually gathered here, and locals who would actually want to say one thing or two. We will try as much as we can so that then we keep it civil and we ensure that we are within the narrow and straight route of conversation. Niambie, unaitwa nani?
Kwa majina naitwa Collins Oluoch aka Wood Nyara Kingly.
Wood Nyara Kingly.
Kabisa.
Leo koti imetoa maamuzi yake. Wewe kama mkazi wa Kisumu, kwanza kabisa wewe umepokea vipi?
Kwa kwangu wenyewe mimi nimepokea hiyo ruling ya court, but ijanifurahisha vile. Juu kwanza nikianza vile petition ilienda kwa mbele ya jaji Martha Koome. Vile nilisikia akiangusha petitioners wote wa 6, akawangusa petition yao yote. Imeniambia eti Kenya yenyewe imekaa kani kucheza sabiki jackpot mbao. Yenye unaweka pesa 20 bob alafu unachagua autoplay na mashini ndio inakuchagulia mshindi. Hiyo kitu janifresha kenyewe. Kusema ukweli, Kisumu naye tuko na amani. Juu hatutaki vita. Awali nimekuwa nikisema, hata nikiambia watu wangu wa bodaboda wengine nikawaambia eti punda imechoka. Na ikichoka imechoka kabisa. Tutaendelea kufanya na rais mwenye amechaguliwa, na ningependa kumuomba huyo rais wetu William Ruto. Vile hata alisema awali sijui watu wa Kisumu kufanya kazi na yeye sijui nini. Atupilie hizo mbali na kuja tuletee maendeleo, kwa sababu ndio amechaguliwa, na hata Martha Koome alisema eti Supreme Court is the final. Hakuna kitu yenye tunaweza fanya, na yenyewe kama mimi kwangu hiyo matokeo hajaniridhisha kabisa.
Lakini umekubaliana nayo?
Nitafanya nini? Lazima nikubaliane nayo. Juu yeye ndio ametoa uamuzi yake. Na hakuna koti nyingine tena tunaweza enda. Na kitu yenye niudhi kabisa kusema tu kweli. Hakuna venye angesupport hata petitioner mmoja, aseme eti Julie Soweto petition yake ilikuwa sawa, lakini hiyo iwezi fanya tunalify election ya president elect, na ameanza na moja didn't reach our court nini suffrage. Ingine pia eti didn't meet our court sijui nini vitu mingi akazitupa zote, hadi vyenye aliambiwa eti kuna Jose Kamago aliinterfere na system. Nimesikia akisema eti Jose Kamago alikuwa maintenance wa IBC portal. Sasa tunashindwa IBC ili employ Jose Kamago ama IBC pia ilikuwa na watu wake wenye walikuwa inafaa waifanye hiyo maintenance. Hiyo kitu ijanifurahisha kabisa.
Shukrani sana Morris. Kabla uende, Wodnya Kingly inamaanisha nini?
Wodnya Kingly ni jina ya pali mamangu amezaliwa hapo. Hata mkiwatch saa zingine TV mnaonanga nini tumbili nasumbuaga watu hapa nyuma ya Kodiaga prison. Sasa mamangu amezaliwa hapo.
Asante sana. Bell, of course, humor, you'll never lack humor in this part of the country. We will talk to the next resident. Tualizo naitwa nani?
Yeah, man. Greetings. I am called Ronnie Bulwa. I go with the artist name Ronnie Clay.
Ronnie Clay, just give us your overview of or how you have actually received today's court ruling, and kindly please very quickly.
Yeah, man, you know everything God created. What we have seen today, Almighty God created. So everything is all right. Everything is going to run cool. So you know the way you receive the message, everything going to run cool. Above all, we have the prophecies about Rastafari community. You know, in Rastafari community, we have the prophets. And what we are seeing right now had been prophesied before. Yeah, it's only that we don't have a place where we can reach media services earlier. But we have a project that is working on this.
Okay.
You know.
Thank you very much. Of course, those are his views, agreeing with what Supreme Court has actually ruled today, and says that the more important thing is for actually Kisumu residents to remain peaceful, even as they contemplate on or they absorb in what has actually been given out by the verdict that has actually been given out today by the Supreme Court. Utaongea ama niongee na mwingine?
Nitaongea yako.
Nieleze wewe unaitwa nani na maoni yako.
Mimi naitwa Samuel Otieno. Natoka Siaya County.
Samuel, tueleze leo mahakama ya Supreme Court imeshatoa uamuzi wake, na bila shaka wameshikilia kwamba Ruto ndio alichaguliwa kama rais wa 5 wa nchi hii. Maoni yako ni yapi?
Mimi nasema hivi, hii Kenya yetu hii tumesafinyiwa sana mara mingi. Hatuna haki yetu. Hii haki yetu tunafinyiwa kabisa. Hata sasa hata Kisumu hatuna furaha. Watu wanajidanganya watu wana furaha, lakini hakuna furaha Kisumu kwa sababu tunajua baba tunachukua baba hajapata president.
Lakini muhimu sana tudumisha amani. Ni muhimu sana tudumisha amani.
Hakuna amani hapa Kisumu. Kesho mambo itaweza tokelezea. Leo ndio watu wanakuwa na amani, lakini kesho hatuwezi kujua vile kesi itakuwa.
Shukran sana. Of course, those are your views. We can actually just have a small talk about the same.
Okay, my name is Didan Obura. What I can say over the election is we just thank for all that has happened, but what we know that our vote never counts as Kenyans. Instead, we have a computerized system that chooses us, the leaders, as to what we have seen since the nullification of 2017, this time round, through everything that has occurred, through whatever everybody has seen. The whole world is seeing that things are not right, even in the IBC system. We cannot have 3 officials of IBC giving us the presidential elect executive. So as we have nothing we can do at the moment, we just request that Raila Amolo Odinga and William Samoei Ruto, they just lead this country towards the right direction ili tuweze tukapata usaidizi kama Kenyans wote.
Jambo la kufurahisha ni kwamba wakazi wa Kisumu wamekuwa na amani sana. They've maintained peace even given the fact that of course, as you say, some do not agree with the ruling of the Supreme Court. Very important gesture has been the fact that most of the residents in this region have actually accepted the ruling and have maintained peace. Your call on residents from this region, is this the way to go so that then we maintain peace even as we forge forward, and even as our leaders actually think in terms of what next in terms of rearranging the political dynamics of this region so that then they can actually play in the big field again? Okay, so what I can say concerning that, I would beseech the Kisumu people to maintain the peace, because there is no reason as to why we would fight, destroy our things and the few properties we've made over a period of time because of maybe just a declaration, a computerized declaration. I think we just need to maintain our peace, work in our businesses, open up our businesses, we continue with the life as normal so that normalcy may continue. And we don't dispute working with William Ruto, because he is the president-elect. We just pray that everything goes well. It drops down his anger, his political anger, which is we have seen to be very dangerous. The words that he's been throwing towards Odinga, towards the people supporting Odinga. He just after he was actually declared president-elect, yes, he came out strongly and said that he will be working with every Kenyan and he will ensure that regardless of whether you voted for him or not, he will actually be voting, he'll actually be willing to work with every leader in this country.
Yeah, okay. I saw that and we thank him for that. But in him there is still some sort of anger. But we would like to just ask him politely that if he's the one who is going to work with us, let him just drop all the political differences. He's now an executive leader. He's the Kenyan president, not the president of Nairobi, not the president of Nakuru. He's the president of everybody. And we have just resorted to work with him. What will we do? No matter our political differences, we were the stronghold of the Azimio, or our Azimio candidate who is Raila Amolo Odinga. Even him, he has this stronghold which is in Nakuru. So there's no problem with us being the stronghold of Raila Amolo Odinga. Let us work together.
And here, who will actually tell us his opinion on exactly what happened today? Yes, you can.
Okay. Imekuwa ngumu kwangu sana kukubali kwa matokeo, lakini kama youth wa Kisumu nishakubali matokeo. Na ni funzo kwa Wakenya wote kuona kama Kisumu leo tayari lijachomwa. Vijana wamechoka, tunataka kazi iendelee. Tukubali matokeo, tuendelee na kazi. Message yangu naweza pitishia kwa rais wa sahi, William Ruto. Sisi kama youth wa Kisumu mara mingi tumekuwa tukitoa ghasia na tumechoka na ghasia. Tumekubali kufanya kazi na yeye, akuje Kisumu tutembelee. Asichukue ile hasira ya election mpaka wa leo ni kama ni hasira aweke roho yake. Sisi tumekubali kufanya naye kazi, tushakubali matokeo. Na tukubali pia sisi mayouth tunaandika kazi. Tuache tuangalie mayouth. Angalau hata vile ananiona kwa sahi nampasia hii message. Tufuatilie kazi bwana. Asituache kama inawezekana atumeta gari, siku ya swearing in pia sisi tuende tuangalie vile anakula kiapo. Na tumekaribisha matokeo vile nafanyika. Naomba hayo chochote mahali pa hako rais mtarajiwa ama rais kwa sahi tukumbuke kama si youth. Asa mimi nakuomba bwana, hata kazi ya mkono nitafutilie, nitashukuru sana.
Asante sana. We have another.
Thank you so much. My name is Malaki Apudo. I'm a lecturer at Maseno University here, and I want to say that today the ruling and the verdict is out, and we respect it. Of course, some of us have sentiments, we may not agree, but now that is the way and it's the final one. We just want to now ask our new president-elect, that is Dr. William Ruto, that the country is one and he has to lead us all equally. whichever way we voted. Of course, we would love him to come and visit Kisumu town. There has been a lot of rumors that Kisumu is always chaotic. As you can see, it's all peaceful. This is a peace-loving ritual has gone on well. So these issues of saying Kisumu is a bad place, like the other day the ambassador for America was saying, we want to dismiss that. And there is always another time.
Welcome to Kisumu, which is quite positive. However, moving forward, what are some of the areas that we need to that we need to focus on, so that then we can actually foster that relationship? Because at times the politics of this country has been that if you are not supporting this side, you're seen as opposition. How then do we move forward so to ensure that we move together as a unit?
Definitely want to ask a new president-elect that the idea of the winner takes it all must not prevail. We just want to ask him that all of us are Kenyans, and he should also focus on developing all the regions equally. We want equity for all the economic resources in the country. Kisumu has so many industries which are closed, the Kikomis, the breweries. We want all those awaken up so that our youths can also work. Let us not have a situation whereby everything government. We want to see ministers from all regions of Kenya. We want to see how our former billion plus voters. And you can see it was a close neck-to-neck competition. You can imagine the 6.9 million that I also feel they've lost it. We want to feel to be part of the economy.
Part of the economy.
Yes.
Just before I let you go, it would be unfair for me to allow you to go without asking you this question.
Yeah.
With the ruling of the Supreme Court, of course, the immediate repercussion is that Dr. William Ruto is the president-elect, right?
Yes.
His election is actually validated, right? But when you look on the flip side, the political fortunes of Raila Amolo Odinga and, of course, the region, what does it mean?
Definitely, I would tell you that Raila Amolo Odinga still remains a hero in so many ways. For once, all these petitions that has been there since 2013, 2017, and now this one, Kenya is growing democratically. And I think without these petitions, we would be in a bad political situation. Now we have seen it. Even those who are going to vie next, they will be knowing that taking anything to the court may not mean you're going to win it again. We know where the court has also not treated as well. We all saw it. Very glaring evidence was put up from the court, and some of them have been wished away. Things like Jose Camago, even a class 2 can see that this was forgery. It was done live on IBC portal. We want to say that we just accept the decision of the court, but we do not definitely agree with it. So this is a lesson to those of us who are going to go into politics, that it is never all solved at the court. But we learn to now do our work well, even before we go to that court.
Probably the last question. Yeah. The last 3 presidential elections, there have been petitions in court.
Yeah.
We've not seen people being taken to task in terms of arrest or what have you. Is it time that probably the court would have actually been explicit in terms of trying to arrest these situations that actually continuously, each electioneering year, bring us to the same situation?
Yes, I would also say that there is a sentiment that most of us were expecting to see the chairman, Chebukati, taken to court straight away. Right. But you can see after the court's verdict...
The commission is not just Chebukati. There are a number of people in there. So then of course, there's...
all this rot ought to have been punished, because when you tell us to take everything to the court and the court decides who the winner is, then other things are put under the carpet. That simply means we are moving on with some rot still going on. So this should have been cleared first. Then Kenyans will be happy, because definitely a lot has gone on wrong. We cannot say that the 4 commissioners, everything was just on the wrong side. So we would have expected the government to do something about this mistakes that were done by some commissioners and all that. So we would love to see improvement by making arrests. Just the same way there are corrupt individuals in this country who are never arrested. We just see a lot of talks but no action. This time it should have started with the IBC, cleaning that rot first. That is the only way we would wish it. Otherwise, for Raila Amolo Odinga, he is still our hero, and we know that he always chants the way. Never think that Raila is defeated. He will come in another form. He is a metamorphosis. Raila will be back in action, and is going to form a very strong opposition. Remember the days of those hooligans who came there, Turu Magarians. We know he'll be keeping our president in check, and we are not sad about that. For our people who support Azimio, we know that Aluta continua, and we shall still win in many situations. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. We have, Ben, we have another lady, gracious lady here, who will also give us her views on exactly today's ruling. Mama, unaitwa nani?
My name is Lynette Omwaka. I work with Equity Afya Medical Center. First, I want to thank people of Kisumu, the maturity they have shown. I didn't believe this. They shown the maturity the day Chebukati misled the country. Again today, the Supreme Court has misled the country. They have accepted again. I appreciate the Kisumu residents. What I want to tell our elect president, Mr. William Ruto, I like his tactics, yes, but he must move closer to Raila Amolo Odinga, because the democratic he's enjoying today, it's Raila who fought for. So let him not distance himself from Ruto, from Raila Amolo Odinga. And I remember it's Raila Odinga who pulled him from somewhere to where he is today. So we want to thank him, to congratulate him, and we welcome him in Kisumu. Vitu lazima ziendelee. We have to move on. Yes.
Thank you very much, Lynette. Ben, those are...
Thank you so much, Achola Simon there. Apologies for that technical hitch, but he has sampled quite a number of resident sentiments in regards to how they have gotten the Supreme Court or the Apex Court decision, which has affirmed the election of William Ruto as President of the Republic of Kenya. And news just in is that IBC also will be holding a presser a little bit later at about 4 p.m. And of course, we will be headed there to know exactly what they have to talk about. And as you can see on your screen, from where the cameraman is, you can see that that is William Ruto's Defense Council, flanked by a lot of leaders there, led by Senior Counsel Fred Ngatia. I can see Katwa Kigen, I can see Senior Counsel Kioko Kilukumi, and a host of other lawyers and advocates who were assisting in the presidential petition. And of course, leaders elected on a Kenya Kwanza ticket, and also friends of the Deputy President, who is now the President-elect. I can see former LSK President Nelson Habi, who was also contesting in the MP here in the capital, Nairobi. Ray?
Well, as I said, we have heard so much, especially from Kisumu there, and as our colleague there, Simon Achola, put it, is that Kenyans down in Kisumu are rather peaceful, sites that are very different, rather divergent from what was expected and what was recorded in 2007, 2008, as well as 2017 there. Just showing that the electorate has come of age. We have matured, that we're going to remain peaceful and let the various organs of the country continue making the decisions as required, rather by duty. Now, I want to rope in a constitutional lawyer as well as Gibson Gesore in regard to what we have heard, right, alluding to President-elect William Ruto actually working with Raila Amolo Odinga, who was their president of choice, their words, and now also bringing development, maybe infrastructure, security down to Kisumu. How do you think that the president-elect is going to work at marrying the views of the electorate in Kisumu, who happen also to be Kenyans, vis-a-vis, his stand on matters politics, juggling the two?
I think, thank you, Regina, for that question. Kenya is one. Once the president-elect William Ruto has been confirmed by the court that indeed is the president-elect, we expect him to move away from now and then move above, and also to be served as Kenyans, because we live in this country, and I expect nothing less from the deputy president and the president-elect now, William Ruto, because Kenya is all one and the constitution we use is one. We expect that even if the people of Luo Nyanza voted overwhelmingly for Raila Amolo Odinga, who is now been found to have lost the election, does not mean that he neglects those people. He will need to find people from that region whom he will work with. And I think there are quite a number of Kenyans from that side who are not fully supporting Baba or Raila Amolo Odinga. So he will become among those people. He will make them part of his government so that they feel represented. That is one. There is also the aspect of him. Actually, somebody alluded to that he needs to go to Kisumu. It means they have agreed that indeed this thing is gone. We have been beaten. As Yekubali Kushindo sio mshindani, they have accepted that indeed we have to proceed on with life, and he's our president now. He should feel welcome to come to Kisumu and address us as he can go to any part of the country. And that shows, or that plays to the aspect that Kenyans have indeed matured. Kenyans voted. Kenyans have trust the constitutional process has been given. Much as some of them do not agree, they still say, we have nothing to do. Now he's our president. Let him come and work for us. And that is, I think, very important.
Now, is this the end of the road of Raila Amolo Odinga? He's been termed as an enigma, an engineer, the one to watch, Baba. Is this the end of the road?
I don't think so. I think, Regina, you know Raila better than that even if people are trying to pull the aspect of his age, Baba has been written off severally. This is a man who served sentence came out and tried to liberate Kenyans to get the Section 2A removed. And then again, he ran an election, lost, came, I think, distant fourth. And then we saw him rise again through funny means, come and join Moi, which was not expected. So you never see him coming, basically to say you never see Raila coming. So that is why I think even his people know that we are waiting for his direction, we're waiting for his signal. Whatever he tells us, we will do. So I'm sure he will sit down with these people and then they will be able to decide the way he is.
In this podium, we have seen various leaders as well as part of the legal team that were defending the election there. That is his family there. Now we'll be referring to it after the swearing-in ceremony that is slated for 13th September. That is going to be the first family there. Nick Ruto leading his siblings there as well as a sister. And that is a fast family. So these are just direct signs that we are expecting any time from now to be hearing from William Ruto, President-elect. And this is after the Apex Court upheld his election there. Now, as we continue to wait to see if we're going to have that particular address from now, we were just looking at the ripple effect of this particular verdict and when it comes to the life and time of Raila Odinga there. And my guest in studio, that is Gibson Gesora, maintains that Raila is an enigma. We have not over and done with Raila. But now, let's talk about the issue and the role that we expect to see that the opposition is going to be playing. There's been a lot. What is your take, Gesora?
I think...
okay, what you can see that is Deputy President-elect Rigathi Gachagua also accessing the podium there, trying to access the podium. He's flanked by the wife there. And this has been credited with delivering, especially in Madeira, where he comes from, and he participated in the debate there and took Kenyans by storm there. There's a lot of misconception and perception in regard to his capability to actually hold fort on his own, but he took Kenya by storm, so to speak. So we have the Deputy President, elect, that is, Rigathi Gachagua, flanked by the wife there, just getting to the podium. Earlier on, we just saw the first family there, Nick Ruto as well as June Ruto there. Anytime from now, we expect to see, and there he is, man of the moment, President-elect William Ruto there, walking out, flanked by his wife, Rachel Ruto there, and in her official tweet, Rachel Ruto took time to congratulate the president-elect, and she said that indeed she's proud of the steps that have been taken and that he has held steady. That is a man of the moment who has made history by being the first deputy president to succeed his boss at that indeed he was duly elected as there. He's a man full of relief. He's a man who is happy. He's a man who is thanking even his, council there. That is Ngatia, who led a contingent of at least 50 plus legal minds to ensure that that particular declaration that was made by IBC Wafula Chebukati chair there, he remains as is. Both Sholei there among the people who are congratulating or rather sending their felicitations to President-elect William Ruto. These are live scenes from the current residence there. A moment, let's have a listen in.
Thank you. All right, we're going to start with a word of prayer, and we're going to ask the spouse of the Deputy President, Pastor Dorcas Rigathi, to lead us in a prayer. Welcome.
Let us pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we stand here to worship and to honor your holy name. You are God all by yourself. We thank you for the great country of Kenya and to every person that came out to vote and exercise their democratic right. Our Lord and our we bless you, we honor you, and as we stand here, Jehovah God, to celebrate another milestone where Kenya, Jehovah God, is being lifted up to become a country where God reigns. We worship you and we honor you for the President who you have given to us and the Deputy President, our Lord, and everyone who has been elected. We pray for the unity of all Kenyans, that we will become one people and one nation. Let the unity of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit become our national anthem. In Jesus' name we pray.
Thank you very much. You may take your seats, those of you that have seats. And we'd like to now call Honorable Eden Duale to just come and address us. Welcome. Oh, for prayers, sorry. I beg your pardon.
Let's pray. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, praise be to Allah, Lord of the world, the most gracious and the most merciful, Master of the day of judgment. It is you we worship, and upon we call for help. Guide us to the straight path, the path of those who are blessed. You have blessed, not of those against whom there is anger, and none of those who are misguided. Amen.
Thank you very much. So for now, I'd like us to, those of us who are seated, stand up as we welcome the Deputy President, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, to come and to just address us from the podium. Tumpigie makofi tafadhali. It might take getting used to, kuzoea hiyo title mpya, lakini zoea.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, the one and only Dr. William Samoei Ruto, Your Excellency, the First Lady of the Republic of Kenya, Mama Rachel Ruto, the First Family, and all of us who are here today. God is good, and all the time. Do I have anything to say? Your Excellency, today is a great day for this country. It marks the beginning of the economic transformation of the Republic of Kenya. We are here not to say that we have achieved this victory, but to say that this victory was the work of God. Amen. The rocks that were put in our path could not be lifted by a human being. It is all the work of God. And I must say that we have seen the heart of God. Yani, against all the odds, against serious mobilization and weaponization of the state machinery, today the son of an ordinary Kenyan whose father and mother are not known is the President of the Republic of Kenya. We thank God. I remember last year we attended a church function at 7 a.m. somewhere in Kano. And there was an evangelist from Nigeria, and he tried to explain to us why our outgoing leader had abandoned William Ruto. And he told us not to worry. It was all God's doing, so that when he becomes president, no man can say he made you king. Therefore, we give glory to God, and we thank the people of Kenya for what they have done for their country. This is a great country, and Kenya has no problem. The problem of Kenya is one of leadership. Once you put the right leadership into place, this is a beautiful country with very resourceful and hard-working people. All you need is to create the right environment for the people of Kenya to prevail. And I have no doubt, agreeing with the rest of Kenyans, that the man we have put into office, Dr. William Ruto, is up to the task. So, Your Excellency, mine is with a lot of humility to assure you that myself and the team under you, we shall give you the necessary support so that you can pretend over the transformation of this beautiful country. We shall work day and night, but I must admit that though we may not be able to be as hardworking, to be as zealous, to be as passionate as you are, we'll give it our best shot. And I want to urge all our colleagues in this struggle, those who have been persecuted, those who have wounds, please let this victory heal all our wounds. And let us get to work. We have work to do. We are inheriting a dilapidated country with a 10 trillion public debt. We are inheriting a country with 6 million young people who have no jobs. We are inheriting a country with 14 million Kenyans in CRB. We have work to do. And let nobody cheat you that it is easy. We have to work from day one. So let bygones be bygones, and let all those who are against us, we invite them to join us. We build this country together. We have nothing against anybody because we are Kenyans and we are good people. And all we want is the economic transformation of our beautiful country. Before I invite our president, let me take this opportunity, Your Excellency, if you may allow me, give a word of assurance to the public service. We are aware that your morale is low. We are aware you feel demeaned. we are aware you have become non-productive because of what you have been taken through. I want to assure you on behalf of my boss that our first job is to restore the dignity of the public service. Our first job is to cushion civil servants from harassment by officers in the police force under the guise of fighting corruption. Our work is to protect the civil servants from extortion. Our work is to make sure that we get a working public service to assist us in the management of the affairs of this country. And I have no doubt in my mind that if all of us support Dr. William Ruto and his team, in a year's time, he will restore Kenya to where President Mwai Kibaki left us. It is now I'm the most privileged person to invite a brand new president. So join me in inviting the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, to come and say something.
Asanteni sana. Tafadhali tuketi chini. Of course you agree with me that I am overwhelmed. This is a moment like no other. And let me first take this opportunity to thank the Almighty God. Yes, it is God. I say it is God. Without God, we wouldn't be here. I have gone through many difficult situations, but because of God, we are here today to celebrate that today the people of Kenya have made a choice, and that choice has been confirmed by our judiciary. Let me first and foremost say we are truly grateful as a team, as the Kenya Kwanza team. We are grateful to God because we have come a long journey. We have worked hard. But as the Bible teaches us in Proverbs 20 verses 7, that some trust in chariots and others trust in horses, but we trust in God. It's not the waking up early. It is not the working long hours. It is the favor and the grace of God that has gotten us here. And we are acutely aware of that. Let me also, in a very special way, thank many people who have prayed for us from across the religious divide. Many people have prayed for us. In fact, I said on the day I was given the certificate, I said we were prayed into victory. I want to thank many people who prayed across this country. Many people fasted, and we are truly, truly grateful. And I want to say to the people of Kenya and to those who have made effort to get us here that we will not let you down. We will work hard and we will not let you down. Let me also, in a very special way, thank my friends, starting with my wife Rachel, who prays for me every day. Before I leave the door from that house behind me, she always holds my hands and prays for me. And my children, for believing in me and always encouraging me. Very special thanks goes to my friends seated here, the people we started this journey with, under very difficult circumstances. I know many of you have suffered because of being my friends. Many of you have been taken to court. Many of you have been harassed, your children, members of your families. The only crime is that you chose me as a friend. I don't take it for granted that you are my friends. We started with many of you who are formerly members of Jubilee. You know what happened to us. I do not want to say. But we believed in a better Kenya. We believed in a freer, more democratic, more rational Kenya. Along the way, many brothers and sisters joined us from other political parties. I want to also say a very big thank you to them. They gave momentum to our journey. And I want to say asante sana. Let me also congratulate and recognize and appreciate the people of Kenya who believed in us. They went out of their way. Under very difficult circumstances, they believed in us. They listened to us. You know, the legendary Mamamboga and Boda Boda guys, they are the heroes of our campaign. They defined this election. They were the embodiment of our quest for a better economy for our Kenya, for our country. The millions of Kenyans who believed in us. Today, for me, the millions who woke up early to go and vote, they have not only voted for me, but they have opened doors and gates for their own children in every village, in every neighborhood, knowing very well that their children as well can become leaders. And every child is free to dream, and every child is free to aspire to any office. And working hard, believing in God, they can get wherever they want to go. I think my election opens possibilities for all our children, irrespective of their background, irrespective of where they come from, irrespective of their financial status. But this afternoon, with the unanimous decision of the Supreme Court of Kenya, our lengthy, suspenseful, and protracted elections before Kenyans, and submitted ourselves to their sovereign decision at the ballot. After the results of the vote were declared, it was taken up before the Supreme Court for scrutiny to make sure, beyond all doubt, that the will of the people had prevailed. The court returned its verdict, and I welcome it with tremendous humility. I salute the judges of the Supreme Court who have performed their duty with utmost fidelity to the Constitution. They listened to all parties, considered all issues, applied the law, and demonstrated their learning, impartiality, and patriotism. Elevated the stature of the judiciary enhanced the place of petition process in legitimating election results as the true reflection of the people's decision and afforded the nation an opportunity to reflect. It also afforded the nation an opportunity to debate and to come to terms with the implications of the last general election. I do not take this for granted, and I thank the judiciary in general and the Supreme Court in particular for staying strong as the shining beacon of constitutionalism and the rule of law, even in the most daunting of circumstances. And you know what I mean. The Supreme Court scrutinized, examined, and dissected and tested the declaration of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission against the high standard established by the Constitution. The decision vindicated the Commission's effort to go all the way and deliver an election that exceeded public expectation and fully met the constitutional threshold of a secure, transparent, free, fair, and accountable election. The return of a unanimous decision on all the 9 issues confirms the fidelity of the IEBC to both the law and the Constitution. I therefore commend the Commission for their noble achievement at tremendous and regrettable cost to serve the people of Kenya by ensuring that their sovereign will is upheld. As I do that, we are all aware that there are men and women who lost lives in this election when they shouldn't. There was blackmail, threats, intimidation, and all manner of attempts to subvert the will of the people. The IEBC stood firm. The judiciary has vindicated the IEBC. This appreciation takes us to the point of proper appreciation of the just concluded legal process. Many of our supporters were a little unhappy about the delay, and some might have been tempted to impute bad faith in the petitioners who they say they saw to be taking advantage of the law to frustrate their wishes as expressed through the ballot. A lot of this anxiety is the result of long-standing suspicion of national institution is involved. The Constitution of Kenya 2010 has done a lot to create comfort in institutions and the rule of law, and we continue to make encouraging progress on the path towards becoming a higher trust society, standing fully on its constitution. It was therefore perfectly legitimate for the petitioners to go before the Supreme Court to have their questions answered, doubts assuaged, and fears allayed. By exercising their constitutional right to take advantage of opportunities to establish the truth, the petitioners tested the result and inscribed upon it the highest stamp of judicial, legal, and constitutional approval. Our electoral and judicial institutions have won, and the Constitution has asserted itself and prevailed. My esteemed competitors now have a credible basis on which to consider the outcome, and we are vindicated by the choice of the people of Kenya. The court's decision completes the loop of institutional stewards of the rule of law, entrench our constitution, and express the sovereign will of the people who have articulated themselves quite eloquently, directly, and through their constitutional institutions. I congratulate all patriotic Kenyans who presented themselves as presidential candidates. It is not an easy decision, and a national campaign, Wajakoya and Justina Wamai, the Honorable Raila Odinga and the Honorable Martha Karua. May the spirit of love for country and selfless service lie long in your hearts, and may Almighty God always remember you. Competitive electoral politics can make and has made our politics an arena utterly devoid of grace. This fills the life of political candidates with loneliness, worry, and exaggerated sense that the stakes are do or die, and elections therefore matters of life and death. It poisons political competition, exterminating the sporting spirit which unites winners and losers by enabling them to access the grace to define their relationship in terms of what they share and not what divides them. Democracy is expected to unite a people, strengthen their society, and improve their institutions, and must not become an acrimonious, fearful, and desperate enterprise. We offered alternative visions and missions and submitted to the sovereign decision of the citizens of Kenya. We are only competitors, not enemies. We vied to unite and strengthen Kenya, not to divide and weaken it. I therefore consider all of my competitors to be my worthy compatriots. Kenyans are united in the quest for a better society that is kinder to its children, want the same thing for themselves and for their children. I honor this aspiration, and I am committed to do and to rise up early, work hard all day, every day, so that we can realize it together. My deputy and I and the Kenya Kwanza team pledge to make Kenya a country of everybody and everyone. My administration shall do justice to all, regardless of their social status, religion, ethnicity, gender, whether they voted at all or whom they voted for. I therefore extend a hand of brotherhood to all my competitors and to all their supporters. We are not enemies, we are Kenyans. Let us unite to make Kenya a nation where everyone shall be proud to call home. My administration will recognize in full the now established tradition of honoring our leaders who have served this nation, and shall not in any manner interfere with their privileges and their entitlements in retirement. They are revered elders of our nation who deserve respect at all times. It is now time for us to prepare for the day when we wake up to the momentous duty to serve Kenyans. Let us all reflect on our contribution and look forward to build this country and nation together to achieve the glory of Kenya, express its heritage and splendor, and fill every Kenyan heart with thanksgiving. As I said earlier, the hero of our campaign is the legendary Mama Mboga and Boda Boda. The hero of the election is one Wafula Chebukati and the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. And the hero of our democracy and the rule of law and constitutionalism is our judiciary. We celebrate all Kenyans, and I pledge and commit to work as the Kenya Kwanza team in making sure that we take Kenya to the next level. I will be making a much more comprehensive statement further down the road. I thought I should recognize everybody who has made a contribution towards this success today. As I said, it's not about me and my good brother Gachagua and the leaders who are here. It's about all millions of Kenyans who have made a contribution to us getting where we have. I will shortly be putting a call to my good friend, President Uhuru Kenyatta. We have not we have not I haven't talked to him in months. But shortly I will be putting a call to him so that we can have a conversation on the process of transition. Yeah. I know he worked hard in his in his own way, but the people of Kenya have made a decision, and we have absolutely no issue with the democratic choices of any Kenyan. You remember I said earlier, when I chose to support Uhuru Kenyatta, I did not give him conditions that he must support me. I have made that very clear. So I take no offense at all that he decided to choose and support somebody else. And therefore, we will remain friends as we have been in the context of where we are. And, and we look forward to building on the foundation that's already there in the many issues that I worked with him, and be able to take Kenya to the next level in the many things that we would have wanted to do that we did not do. Irresponsible people. Government is a continuous enterprise, and we will complete all the projects that have not been completed, as we have said, and we will build on that foundation the programs that we have committed to the people of Kenya, and we will hit the ground running because we are aware of what we need to do. I will also be putting a call to my worthy competitors, beginning with Raila Odinga, my worthy competitor, with his Azimio team, so that we can begin to contextualize how we are going to work together for the people of Kenya. Those of us who will be working from the executive, and the Azimio team who will be working from the opposition. And as I committed to the people of Kenya, I believe in the rule of law. I do not believe in the handshake stories. I believe in an accountable government held to account by a responsible opposition. That is how Kenya is going to move forward. And so I look forward to a conversation on how they will hold us to account and make sure that we deliver on the commitments that we have made to the people of Kenya, and public resources are put to good use in an accountable manner, and so that we can reap the benefits of what the people of Kenya have done in electing us into office. We will then be working with all the other people as we as we get down to doing what we committed to the people of Kenya that we do. I know there is huge expectation. Many people are texting me and asking, when is the Hustler Fund going to be launched? Many people are asking me, many farmers want to know when subsidized fertilizer will be available so that they can get on with the journey or with the business of growing food for us so that we can reduce the cost of living. Many farmers are asking when we are going to begin the journey on agro-processing and value addition. Many people across Kenya want to know when we are going to begin our housing program. I want to commit that as soon as we are sworn into office, in fact beginning tomorrow, I will be working with the people in government offices in the process of implementing our plan. Let me say to all of you, I know many people have come here. I know many members of parliament are here, many governors are here, many senators are here, members of county assemblies. Let me take this opportunity in a very special way to recognize our legal team, led by Senior Counsel Fred Ngatia and Senior Counsel Kioko Kilukumi and Senior Counsel Kiragu, and of course my chief agent and team leader of the legal team, Professor Abraham Kithure Kindiki. We had the best legal team anybody could assemble. And we are very proud of you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for protecting our victory and for doing your bit. I remember when I talked to them, I told them those of us who are politicians have done our bit. We handed over the baton to them, and I told them they should not drop the baton. And they brought it home in one piece, and we want to celebrate them. Tuwapige makofi jameni hawa makofi. Let me also say, for good record, that these great men and women, our legal team, volunteered their services for free. It is amazing that they said this is a patriotic duty they are doing for their country, and they were going to donate their time, their intellect, their professionalism to make sure that they do that is what is right for Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, I sincerely appreciate on behalf of the Kenya Cancer team your sacrifice, your contribution, and your commitment to this journey. Asanteni sana. Of course, there are many volunteers. There are many volunteers who came across. There are many people who supported us in many ways. There are many people who contributed merchandise. Many people contributed resources of all types, merchandise, airtime, equipment, transport, and it was just amazing. We ran a campaign. Many people believed that I was very organized, but I want to tell you it was it was not me. Everybody made a contribution. That's why the whole thing looked seamless. We didn't have to push nobody to do nothing. Everybody did what they were supposed to do without asking. So I want to say thank you very much to our team. I want to announce that this marks the end of the politics of deceit. and the politics of betrayal and the politics of conmanship. It is the end. We want the politics of the Kenya of the future. Every leader must be held to account on what they say, and they must match what they say with what they do. I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, that with the opportunity God has given us, we want to have a country based on the rule of law. As my deputy has said, the criminal justice system will be reserved for fighting criminals and criminality and making sure that public resources are protected and criminals are brought to book. The criminal justice system will never be used again for political reasons. Let me say it again. The criminal justice system will never be used again against those who have a contrary view, political view to ours. I want our competitors to rest assured that though the rest of us have been subjected to threats, blackmail, intimidation, and unnecessary fights, I commit that under our administration, nobody will be vilified or victimized or prosecuted for holding a contrary political view from ours. This is a democratic country, and we want to remain so. Our competitors have nothing to fear, like the way many of our supporters have had everything to fear for being our friends or for holding a contrary view from those who wielded power. So, and as I have said, we will respect our President, Uhuru Kenyatta, in his retirement. We will give him the respect and dignity a former head of state deserves. We are honorable people. We are not petty, and we are not jealous. He has done a good job, and he will have his place in the history of Kenya. So nobody should peddle any falsehoods or that we harbor anything against the President of Kenya. When our good friend Raila Odinga retires also, we will give him the respect he deserves as a Kenyan leader who has made a huge contribution to the democracy of our nation, and every other leader that deserves respect. So to all our friends out there, we want to grow a nation. We want to build a society that is based on the rule of law and respect for our elders. So let me leave it there for now. The rest of the things we are going to say, I will take maybe one or two questions so that we can conclude this press conference. Na nitasema kwa Kiswahili, nitajibu maswali kwa Kiswahili. Sisi tumekubaliana? Kama mnataka niseme Kiswahili kidogo, nimesema ya kwamba kwa niaba ya team ya Kenya Kwanza tunamshukuru Mungu kwa sababu ya kutupatia ushindi. Hii ushindi si ya William Ruto na Gachagua, ni ushindi wa mamilioni ya Wakenya walioamka asubuhi na mapema kupiga kura ili hata na watoto wao waweze kupata nafasi ya kuwa na ndoto ya kuwa viongozi katika taifa letu la Kenya. Nimesema vile vile ya kwamba tunawashukuru wale wote hasa IEBC ambayo ilisimamia uchaguzi katika taifa letu la Kenya. Mbali na changamoto za makomishona ambao waligawanyika pale mwisho, IEBC ilifanya uchaguzi ambao ulikuwa wa huru na haki, na kila Mkenya ametosheka. Ma-MCA wamechaguliwa, wabunge wamechaguliwa, maseneta wamechaguliwa, magavana wamechaguliwa, na leo mahakama ya upeo imeidhinisha uchaguzi wa rais pamoja na naibu wa rais, kumaanisha kwamba IEBC ilifanya kazi ya muhimu. Na nimesema shujaa wa uchaguzi huu ni Wafula Chebukati na makamishna waliohakikisha ya kwamba uchaguzi huu haujapatilishwa na watu ambao walikuwa na njama ya kuharibu uchaguzi wetu. Nimesema vile vile tutapata nafasi kama viongozi kuongea na rais wetu ambaye anaenda kustaafu, ili tuweze kupanga mambo ya kukamilisha succession kwa njia na taratibu ambayo iko na heshima. Na nimesema vile vile kama vile tuko na desturi kama taifa, viongozi wetu wote wale ambao ni elders wa taifa letu, viongozi wanaostaafu kama rais, watapata heshima na watapata haki yao katika mahali pa heshima katika taifa letu la Kenya, na hakuna wasiwasi yeyote kwa mtu yeyote kwamba kutatokea na jambo lolote. Yale ambayo yamefanyika, Waswahili wanasema yaliyopita si ndwele, tugange yaliyomo na yajayo, na hivyo ndivyo tutakavyofanya. Tumekubali vile vile ya kwamba kamwe criminal justice system katika taifa letu la Kenya haitatumika kuendesha mambo ya siasa katika taifa letu la Kenya. Wanasiasa wote wako na huru wakuwe na msimamo tofauti ya kisiasa, bila ya kujali ya kwamba watashurutishwa, watalazimishwa, watafunguliwa mashtaka yasiyo na maana. Hiyo haitafanyika katika taifa letu pale tukiwa viongozi katika taifa letu la Kenya. Wananchi wengi wameangaishwa, wamesumbuliwa, wamefanyiwa mambo mengi kwa sababu ya misimamo yao ya kisiasa, na tumesema haya mambo tutayakomesha. Tunataka kuwa na nchi ya demokrasia, mahali maoni ya kila mtu ni ya muhimu na hakuna mtu atashurutishwa kuwa na msimamo mmoja ama msimamo mwingine. Any questions, good people? Thank you very much. I don't think you have any questions. Uko na swali ya kusema nini? Sema jina.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Congratulations on your win. My name is Ibrahim Karanja. I work for NTV.
Yes,
you have repeatedly said during the time the IEBC declared you as a winner, and even now when the Supreme Court has upheld your win, that you will work your government and with the opposition to the extent that it remains in the opposition. From where you sit, how should Kenyans take then your move of incorporating members of parliament who were elected in what were opposition parties in the election? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. You know, as I have said, there are many people who today are in Azimio, not because they want to be. We have many people who are forced, blackmailed, threatened into belonging to Azimio. There are many leaders. If many of these leaders, if they tell you their stories, they are horror stories. Many of them were told, if you don't join Azimio, this court case, KRA, will be brought on you, and many other threats. And that's why I said the other day, our good brothers, competitors on the other side, they have to really think of how
to take their coalition into the future now that they don't have the instruments of blackmail, threats, and intimidation. Because they have built their coalition using force and blackmail. And you know, this is a country, a democratic country, and you cannot force anybody to make political choices they don't want. Imagine even a law was passed that makes people prisoners of a certain coalition. That once you sign a piece of paper here, and they make sure you sign that piece of paper at night when the lights are switched off. And then you are told, once you sign, you cannot leave. You know, that is not a country that we all wanted to belong to. So there will be people who will want to join Kenya Kwanza, and you know, a majority of the people who have decided to come and join Kenya Kwanza actually were people who we were together before. They were just boxed into a corner, threatened, blackmailed, and told they must belong to a different formation. So, because we are a country of free choices, yeah, I want you to know that we will have an opposition in Kenya. There will be no handshake like the one we witnessed before, that creates a mongrel of a government where nobody knows where the line is. That one will not happen. But there will be people who will choose because of preference, because, for example, I'm sure maybe you are talking about Ali Roba and his team. Ali Roba and his team are members of Jubilee. We were together. Or Kiraitu Murungi for that matter. These are people we were together. They were just told, you must be here, otherwise X, Y, and Z will happen. Now that we are breathing fresh air and freedom has arrived, they are now... Thank you very much. Any other question? Yes, my good friend. Mpatie ule microphone.
Congratulations, Sir President William Ruto.
Asante.
My name is Kevin Mihona from Mwangaza TV.
Yes.
Your Excellency President, there are young men like us who had some different thought about the verdict of this ruling with the court. What would be your encouragement to them? They are burning. I've been from the streets of Nairobi and some of them are burning. Kindly tell them a word of hope. Thank you.
As I have said, two things. We are a democracy. And in a democracy, the majority have their way, the minority have their say. Number two, I have said here, the administration we are going to run is the administration that is going to serve all Kenyans, irrespective of whether they voted at all or whoever they voted for. We are going to serve the people who voted for us and those who did not vote for us, because we are going to run the government of Kenya. And the government of Kenya is going to be the government of Kenya for all Kenyans. So they have absolutely nothing to worry. Nothing to worry. We are going to serve all Kenyans equally. Yes?
Mr. President, congratulations.
Thank you.
My dream was to be a professional footballer, but I had to kill that dream. What's your plan now that you're in power in terms of stadiums and making sure the football in this country works? Because there are so many dreams out there have been killed because of individual selfish reasons. What's your plan on that one?
The same way the people of Kenya have made my dream a citizen from nowhere come true. As I have told you, I will work hard. You have read our manifesto on matters to do with sports, and we will work hard to deliver on our commitment so that people like yourself and many more who have dreams and their dreams stagnated or died because there was no opportunity, that we create that opportunity so that people like yourself or even other people who have aspirations like yours can also attain or make their dreams come true. So, yes, one last question. Yes, give.
Yeah, my name is Ken Jenga Wambui from Minoro TV.
Yes.
We understand that from the Constitution, Chapter 9, Article 141, the President shall be sworn in the first Tuesday after 7 days. What is this one thing that you will promise Kenyans that you will deliver within the first 100 days once you assume office?
There are many things, Njenga Wambui. And how is Inoro, by the way? It's good to have you around, and I want to promise you that you will be treated equally like all other Kenyans. I know sometimes people think the people who really fought hard against us that we have grudges. We don't. We are Democrats, and we will work together. However, your question on the first 100 days, let me not say it today. I will be making a statement on my inauguration. Just be patient kidogo. Sawa Bwana Njenga. Asante. One last one. Where are my good friends from Citizen? Citizen. No, it was
Citizen.
Where are they?
Hawako?
It's okay. Yes.
Congratulations on your win, Mr. President. My name is Brenda Wanga from Citizen TV. I know you have said you will give a comprehensive statement a little bit later on what you intend to do in your first 100 days. You've said that in your manifesto before, but I know most of us are quite concerned and would like to know what your plans are in regards to fighting graft. That has been quite a big issue during this campaign. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think it's a fair question. And how is my good friend Leto, by the way? And say hello to Chemutai Goinchi. So, as I have said, I am going to make a comprehensive statement, and I want to promise you that among the things I want to do on the 100 days, one of them is going to be about tackling corruption. So expect a statement and expect there are two things that I said in the manifesto. Number one is the judiciary fund, and number two is to have an accounting officer for the police and the entire criminal justice system, so that they will never depend again on resources from the office of the president. They will have their own independent budget and an accounting officer, so that they can go after anybody that is involved in graft or in wastage or in theft without getting permission from the office of the president. We will treat those institutions as the Constitution expects us, as independent institutions. But I'm going to make a statement about on that, or as among the things that will be in my 100 days to do list. Sawa, very good. Otherwise, I think we can leave it there for today. Mimi nataka ni waambie asante sana for coming. All the good friends from the media, thank you very much. We're going to be sharing information with you as often as we can. And I am just requesting that let's put the campaign behind us and let us look into the future together. We may all have supported different candidates, but the people of Kenya have made a choice. Sindio? Si sasa tujipange tu kwenda mbele pamoja. Bas, asanteni sana na watakia baraka ya Mungu. Thank you.
All right, kindly let's remain seated. Kindly let's remain seated for a minute. Would just like to have a few photographs, Your Excellency, with your permission.
Live from the DP residence in Karen here in the county of Nairobi, President-elect William Ruto, in his first speech since the Apex Court affirmed his win a couple of hours ago, and perhaps to fast track to what he has been talking about, we'll be delving into that much with my colleague Regina Manyara. We are also joined by Advocate of the High Court Gibson Gisore and a constitutional lawyer Henry Kurauka. Very quickly, some of the things that he has been able to point out, and it's a question that we very well knew in the media, it's gonna be there. That is, what do you intend to do in the next 100 days? And he has, of course, he has been tight-lipped a little, but he has broken the ice there, talking about tackling corruption will be the first, and we expect a much comprehensive report. But something that he has said, and I know quite well, will identify with you two, my good learned friends, is the judiciary fund. This is something that we've had for a very long time, and he has talked about accountability for the police and also the criminal justice system. They will have their own, they will be more or less autonomous, and they will have their own budget so that they do not rely on the executive. A very quick one, Kurauka.
Yes,
what do you make of the DP of the president-elect now?
Yes,
speech,
yes.
And in particular in actualizing the judiciary fund?
Yes, thank you very much. The speech is wonderful. I believe we expect more on the 13th. Now, without financial independence, we have other forms of independence, like the way we have seen our Supreme Court, and other courts do. There are other independence, like administrative, without interference with any other organ. Presidency is actually a very important arm of government, because the president is the epitome of national unity. A lot of things will be said by our president-elect, but let me say this. Yes, it may be easy to promise when we are campaigning, but when it comes to actualizing, it may not be practical to actualize some of these things within 100 days, because there are corruption. There are more than 10 institutions that must be involved. Some of them are independent, like courts. You cannot take someone to court today and expect that person to be taken to committee the following day. We need a lot of, consultation. We cannot even borrow from other jurisdictions. For example, China has been able to handle corruption very well. When it comes to criminal justice, that our president-elect has, put very well, we can borrow leaf from countries like the Netherlands, which has a very good criminal system, whereby before people are taken to court, there are 99.9% that a case will be sustained. Of course, Kenyans have a lot of expectations. Already, he has rightly put it. Some are asking, when is the funds coming? Thank you.
Yeah, and tossing the ball to you, Ray and Gisore, he talked about an accountable government held firmly by a robust opposition to hold them to account. And again, talking about we are not going to be having a criminal justice system that will be going for all the wrong people. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you for that question. I've listened to him, and that was very clear from him that he wants an accountable government. That is very commendable. For him, from what I've heard, is visualizing a government which is...
Before we hear from you, Council, we want to take you to some live pictures that you see on screen there. They have a combination of what is happening at the DP residence now, that the President-elect residence there, as well as Sugoi in Eldoret, which happens to be in Wasen Gishu County.
And allow me to come in with some of the things that have been mentioned. Kurauka, he has mentioned very quickly, the electoral process is done and dusted. Now we should embark on nation building. That's a very strong statement if you ask me, because after every election cycle, the country just has a break or something, and then we go back to politicking again. And now he wants us to put all that behind and focus on nation building. And again, the handshake question has popped up. He said, yes, we're going to work together, but no handshake as witnessed before. Quite a strong statement.
Very well. Already we have several handshakes since the results were announced. If I go by what I have been but to be very sincere, it is practically impossible to govern this country without some form of handshake. And that's why I commend our President-elect for embracing leaders like my senior Kiraitu Morongi and the other leaders. Of course, we expect more of these, working together relationships. They may not be really handshake, but it can be a version of the same. But what I would like to say is that, yes, we need a robust and effective opposition. For that to happen, we need legal reform, because the laws we have cannot create the opposition that was contemplated in now and de facto BBI. But let me say this as well. What is very important right now is national unity. We have no space to have chaos. We, Kenya, and benefit as a Kenyan.
All right, and we will be delving into that more a little bit later. But as we were having the president-elect speak for the first time since the court affirmed his win, we also had a parallel interview where IEBC chair Wafula Chebukati was having a presser at his office, 21st floor of the anniversary towers. This is what he had to say.
Good afternoon. Exercising the democratic right to vote on the 9th of August in accordance with Article 38 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. In fulfillment of the Constitution, the Commission put in place a robust and transparent election infrastructure to ensure that the votes cast were counted, electronically transmitted, verified, tallied, announced and declared in line with Articles 81 and 86 of the Constitution. The general election was conducted by about 1,000 dedicated permanent employees of the Commission, assisted by over 400,000 temporary staff countrywide. The Commission is grateful to this staff for a job well done. Additionally, the Commission recognizes the support by stakeholders, including the judiciary, the National Police Service, and service providers who participated in the electoral process. The Commission gives special recognition to development partners who provided support that bridged financial gaps in the Commission's budget. In the course of discharging our constitutional duty, the Commission and its staff endured harassment, intimidation, abduction, arrests, and some lost their lives. It's tragic that Mr. Daniel Mushoka, a returning officer for Embakasi East constituency, was abducted and tortured to death in the line of duty. In addition, Mr. Geoffrey Kitobo, a returning officer for Kishugu constituency, died in what could be election-related stress upon completion of elections in his constituency. In this general election, the abuse of IBC staff reached an unimaginable scale. Apart from the 2 deaths, the Commission and staff suffered other atrocities, including, but not limited to, assault and injury of the chairman, Commissioners Professor Abdi Gulier and Boya Molu, and the Commission Secretary and Chief Executive Officer Mr. Marjan Hussein at the National Tallying Center during the declaration of results. Unwarranted arrest of a voter education coordinator by anti-terrorist police unit on the floor of the National Tallying Center, who was detained for 3 days. Abduction, torturing, and holding incommunicado for 9 hours of the managed election operations and the support staff by persons to be believed to be security agencies. Attempted arrest of 3 staff members who are lawfully verifying election results on the floor of National Tallying Center. Abduction of a staff of a service provider working at the National Communication Center. Harassment and physical assault of staff of service providers manning heavy-duty printing and photocopying machines at the National Election Communication Center. Physical assault of election officials in parts of Narok, Kakamega, Kirinyaga, Wajir, Nairobi, amongst others. In one instance, a presiding officer in Eldas constituency was shot in the leg, resulting to amputation. Physical assault of returning officers bringing results to the National Tallying Center. Breaking into offices of senior commission staff at the National Tallying Center with the intention of accessing sensitive data. Ethnic profiling, targeting, and cyberbullying of members of the Commission and its staff. To date, no one has been arrested for these crimes committed against members of the Commission and its staff. As it stands, no human rights or civil society organization have. The Commission reiterates that election is a general election, and the Commission tested its systems and processes in over the 40 by-elections in the last 5 years. A is a testimony that the Electoral and Boundaries Commission is finally vindicated. We look forward to the full judgment of the Supreme Court as well as feedback from our stakeholders. Finally, the Commission wishes to thank immensely its legal team in not only defending it, but also ensuring that the sovereign will of the people of Kenya is protected. God bless Kenyans. I believe it's been a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is
Kisii. Now we take you to Kisii, where Kenyans are in a celebratory mood there. Let's have a listen in into what is happening in Kisii.
Sisi kama wananchi wa Kisii, vile mnavyoona, wananchi wametoka, biashara zinaendelea, wananchi
na wote ambao tuliopiga kura leo tunasherekea ushindi wa mheshimiwa wetu ambaye ni rais mteule William Samuel Ruto. Kanisa letu, kanisa lote Kenya, tunashukuru kwa sababu kanisa limetulia, kanisa limeomba na kanisa limeonekana kwa wakati huu.
Mungu sana kwa ajili ya mama Martha Koome kwa ile decision wamefanya haki kwa mwana Kenya ambaye tuliamka asubuhi tukapigia hasara kura. Tuko na furaha ya kwamba haki imefanyika katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Tunataka kuambia watu wetu wote tusherekee kwa amani.
Take you to Kiambu County for the similar. Let's just find out if residents in Kiambu share the same sentiments as those in Kisii.
Uamuzi wa koti kuamua ya kwamba William Samoei Ruto ndiye atakuwa rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Kwa hivyo tunaomba ya kwamba akaweza kuendelesha taifa kwa njia ambayo inayostahili, na tumefurahishwa kwa sababu mahakama imetuonyesha vikamilifu ya kwamba hawa hawatakubali kushurutishwa na mtu yoyote. Wamefanya uamuzi ambao uko huru.
Siasa imeisha, hata wale ambao walikuwa mlima walikuwa saidi ile ingine, tukiwaomba mkuje sasa tutengeneze taifa yetu ili tuweze kuwa kitu kimoja.
Tulikuwa tunamuomba Mwenyezi Mungu sana William Ruto akuwe rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, ile zile Hustlers Fund na zile promises zote, mambo yote tuliweza kuambia wananchi wa Kenya. Lazima sasa, hakuna jambo la kusema ni kwa nini haijafikishwa. Sasa lazima tuambatane, tufanye kazi kama familia moja ya UDA.
Sasa kazi ni kwake, tufanyie watu kazi.
Take you to Wajir to try and see if the residents there have received this news with jubilation or not. Here's Wajir.
Hatutaki vita ama mahakama hivi watu futa ni kufute. Hiyo haina faida. Kenya aende mbele, biashara iendeke. Wale waanguka na wale wanapata, sote ukue pamoja, ufanye kazi. Tujenge nchi yetu.
Hakika ninafurahia hiyo uamuzi ambaye Supreme Court ulifika. Hii ni kuonyesha Kenya imeendelea.
Kwanza ni kushukuru Mwenyezi Mungu kwa yote ambayo nimefanyika siku ya leo. Ya pili, tunawashukuru wale churches ambao walifanya hii kazi. Na zaidi ya yote tunamshukuru rais wetu mteule Ruto kwa kukaa na kuomba Mungu.
Nashukuru Mungu kwa kumpatia Martha Koome hekima na maarifa.
Tunataka amani katika Jamhuri ya Kenya.
From West Pokot, we want to take it to Kibra, right here within Latte constituency and Nairobi. Here are the sights and sounds from Kibra.
Kenneth Nizado Kokonda, mimi ni mkaaji hapa Kibira. Sisi wakaaji wa Kibira tumefurahia na huu uchaguzi venye majaji wameamua na venye wametuambia kiongozi wetu ni William Samoei Ruto. Tumefurahi kwa sababu yeye ndio tulivotia. Ni hayo ndio maoni yangu.
Majina ni Tunda Winisho. Mimi nasema watu wa move on tu juu ishakuwa. Asikubali kushinda si mshindani. Kwa hivyo tu move on, tuendeleze Kenya, tuendeleze uchumi. Ni hivyo tu.
Mimi ni Joseph Masika. Nimefurahia sana kwa uamuzi ambayo imefanyika. Kama wananchi tuwe kitu kimoja, tuendelee na maisha. Maana hakuna mtu atakuletea chakula kwa mlango. Wewe pamoja na mimi ni majirani, tuendelee kuwa na amani.
Mimi naitwa Geoffrey Beth. Mimi ni mkaaji wa Kibira lakini nyumbani natoka Bomet County. So kama kotini ameamua hivyo tutakubali tu. So naomba wa Kenya tukaa mahali tuko hapo. Tuendelee na maisha yetu tu. Mimi naomba tu amani.
Cindy Asenti, mkaji wa Kibra. Si tumeheshimu mahakama vile imesema. Sasa kitu yenye naweza omba tu wa Kenya kuwe na amani. Ni hayo tu.
Jina langu ni Jason Nichezi, nikiwa mkaaji wa hapa Kibera. Malilio yetu na maombi yaliyo watakatifu yamesikika. Ruto amehangaishwa, ameenda mpaka mahakamani, nimekuwa proved, kila kitu iko sawa. Kwa hivyo wa Kenya tumetoka katika minyororo ya wafungwa, tuko sasa uhuru. Mungu ametusikia na freedom has come to the country.
Ina Elias Mkoyani. Mimi naona mahakama wamecheza pati yao, wamemaliza. Wameangalia kila kitu, wameona kuna evidence. Kwa hivyo mimi naona mahakama walikuwa.
Mimi ni Roslyn Simiyu. Kile naomba tu kwa serikali yetu ambayo imeingia saizi, mahakama imefanya mambo yao na washughulikie maslahi wa wananchi ambao wako chini. Especially unga imenini sana, imepanda sana. Na pia upande ya masomo watu waangalie. Kibira tunaumia sana upande ya masomo. Mambo ya CBC imekuja, inabidi mzazi huyu mmoja ndiye anatafuta hasoli ya kula na pia anatafuta hasoli ya wanafunzi. So watushughulikie upande wa wanafunzi pia.
Kuendelea mbele, wataangalia vile watafanya economy ya Kenya iwe sawa kwa mwananchi mdogo. Mwananchi mdogo anaumia sana. Wananchi vyakula imeongezeka sana. Tunataka vyakula ishuke. Hiyo ndio wananchi wanataka. Mambo mengine hatutaki. Hiyo ya juu hatujui hata.
Kwa majina naitwa Henry Mutu. Ninashukuru kwanza Mungu kwa maana ametupatia amani. Tumeomba sana amani imedumu Kenya, na washukuru wa Kenya kwa kudumisha amani. Na pia Supreme Court tumeona vile imekata hiyo case, na sababu kwa mashindano mpaka kuwe na mshindi na mshindwa. Kwa hivyo yangu ni kusema mwenye ameshinda ongera, mwenye ameshindwa atii, alafu tuungane tujenge Kenya.
Now from Kibera there, let me take you to Mwingi. Let's sample what is happening in Mwingi following that particular judgment.
Kama watu wa Mwingi tunataka kushukuru Mungu kwa sababu ya siasa zilizokuwa na upole na amani, na watu wakapiga kura zao, na sasa ni wakati wa matokeo ya hukumu ambayo ilipelekwa kule kotini. Sasa ningependa tu kushukuru na kuwaomba Wakenya turudi kazini, tuchape kazi. Rais wetu ambaye amepewa nafasi hii na koti, na yeye aanze kazi yake, na sisi kama wananchi tukamunge mkono, hata wale waliopigia mlengo ule na wale walipigia mwingine, tushikane pamoja tuweze kupeleka nchi yetu mbele.
Mimi ni chama wa bodaboda hapa Mwingi Town. Yangu ni furaha sana kwa wakati kama huu, nishangu na vingelegele kwa kupata rais wetu tulikuwa tunatarajia.
Chenye ningependa kusema ni kushukuru mahakama yetu ya hapa Kenya kwa sababu ya ile kazi ambayo imefanya kazi nzuri, kuhakikisha ya kwamba tumepata kiongozi ambaye ni wa halali. Na ningependa kuhimiza na kuambia watu wa Kenya wenzangu, tudumishe amani na tukumbali kile ambacho kimetokea. Yule ambaye amekuwa rais tumkumbali kama rais wetu na tufanye kazi na yeye.
Those are sentiments from residents in Mwingi. Now let's sample what Kenyans had to say, those residing especially within Naivasha in Nakuru County.
Sugoi.
Kazi na wao pamoja kwa sababu tulikuwa tumelilia Mungu sana na amefanya kulingana na haki na sheria yenye tulikuwa tunataka. Kwa hivyo sisi tutakuwa na amani kuanzia saa hii mpaka milele na milele.
Na mimi nilikuwa upande wa baba na asiyekubali kushindwa si Msudani. So mimi nataka kusema congratulations Deputy President ambaye umechaguliwa kama President wa Kenya.
Those are sights and scenes from Naivasha there in Nakuru County. Now we want to take you to Uasin Gishu County and in particular to Sugoi, where my colleague Timothy Kipnusu is on ground. Good evening, Timothy. There, we will be joining Timothy Kipnusu, who is in Sugoi there, the home of President-elect William Ruto there, already surrounded by Kenyans who are eager to give their message in regard to the latest development. Good evening, Kipnusu. How are you? I hope you can hear me loud and clear now. Tell us, what is the situation in Sugoi?
A very good evening to you, Regina Manyara, back there at the broadcasting house in Nairobi. Yes, indeed, I'm still pitching camp here in Uasin Gishu County, the political bedrock of the President-elect William Ruto. Actually, I am at Ruto's residence here in Sugoi, and celebrations were underway a few minutes ago. A number of residents who had gathered here to celebrate the announcement of proclamation from the 7-judge bench were here, and the celebration was immense, the excitement was immense, and just before we managed to make our way here in Sugoi, a number of areas, particularly in the CBD, was you cannot move. Transport was really paralyzed because a number of residents took to the streets to celebrate. It was pomp and color, celebrating the son of the soil, Dr. William Samoei Arap Ruto, after the judgment made by the Supreme Court judges. And just to paint a picture, I'm joined by a number of residents, including elected leaders who are here together with residents to celebrate the victory from the 7-judge bench after they have affirmed the President-elect William Samoei Arap Ruto. Many thanks indeed for joining us. Actually, is Nicholas Bitok, the area member of County Assembly for Tapsagoi ward, the ward where Ruto comes from. Many thanks indeed for joining us. How do you make the assessment of the judgment from the Supreme Court who made the decision today?
Ilikuwa uwazi na walifanya kazi jinsi sheria inavyotakikana, kwa sababu kwa kweli hakukuwa na kesi. Ruto aliweza kushinda kinakaubaga. Tunafurahia sana judgment bench ya watu 7 ambaye wote 7 walikubaliana kuwa President William Samoei Ruto ndiye aliyechaguliwa na wananchi, na yeye ndio anastahili ushike usukani ya urais katika Kenya, taifa letu la Kenya.
As a leader who is elected here in Tapsagoi ward, what are your expectations under the administration of William Samoei Arap Ruto, bearing in mind that the country is really grappling with a number of issues from corruption and of course also the high cost of living? What is your expectation au matarajio yako ni yapi?
Matarajio yangu ni makubwa sana, kwa sababu mimi mwenyewe namjua Rais Ruto sana, kwa sababu ameweza kuyatatua mambo ya economy, mambo mengi, hata ya corruption ambaye mara mingi wamesema kuwa yeye ni corrupt, lakini sisi wenyewe kwa sababu alikuwa mbunge wetu na amekuwa rais wa deputy president wa Kenya, naelewa na kujua kuwa atafanya mambo yatawezekana. Yes.
Wenyinyi wanasiasa kila mara mnakuwa wepesi kutoa ahadi mbele ya umma, lakini kutekeleza inakuwa ni donda sugu au ni kitendawili. Kwa mtazamo wako kwamba baadhi tu ya ahadi ambazo wananchi wametoa kwa viongozi nyinyi ambao mmechaguliwa wametoa kwa wananchi, ni nini hasa kinakuwa kigumu kutekeleza ahadi zile?
Mambo ya kutekeleza mambo ya ahadi katika uongozini ni mara mingi watu wana mahitaji mengi na mapato ni machache. Kama for example sasa kama ward yetu hii ina mahitaji ya over millions, lakini sasa for example ward allocation ya ward yetu ya Tapsagoi tunapata 45 million. So wakati unapanga kusukuma ingine, kuweka kando, kuongeza ingine na kufanya, hauwezi timiza yote kwa safari moja. So inakuanga scarce resources na mambo mengi ambayo tunahitaji tufanye.
Thank you so much, Nicholas Bitok, the member of County Assembly Tapsagoi ward. I can get a view from the chief or Sugoi chief David Samoei. Actually he has the same name with the president-elect. Pengine unahisi vipi kuhusiana na ile uamuzi uliotolewa na majaji wa mahakama ya upeo?
Kwanza majina yangu ni Senior Chief David Samoei, wakata ya Sugoi hapa Uasin Gishu. Kwanza kama mkaaji wa hapa tuna furaha nyingi sana kwa sababu koti kuu ama Supreme Court ya siku ya leo imetoa uamuzi ambaye inafanana na ile wananchi walisha. Mambo ni mengi, lakini usalama wa nchi yetu, mambo ya uchumi wa nchi yetu, na pia ile ahadi ambazo walitoa kwa wananchi, yeye ni mtu wa kusema na kutenda. Nafikiri mambo yote ambayo walisema katika manifesto yetu ya UDA atimiza kabisa. Kwa hivyo tunaamini yeye ni mtu wa kusema na kutimiza.
Asante sana chifu wa eneo la Sugoi. Pengine nizungumze na mmoja wa wanasiasa ambaye amechaguliwa kutoka ward ya Simat kule katika eneo bunge la Kapseret na kutoka Oscar Sudi. Pengine kwanza kabisa kwa yule ambaye anatizama umevalia mgonda haya, pengine inaashiria nini hasa wakati ambapo eneo hili linasherehekea kutangazwa kwa Ruto kama rais mteule?
Asante sana. Kwa majina ni Solomon Limo. Mimi natoka kule Simat Kapseret ward, sub county ya Kapseret. Actually siku ya leo tuko na furaha sana. Unavyoona sisi tumevalia hii inaonyesha tumepata ushindi, na tuko na furaha sana kama jamii ya Wakalenjin wote. Tuko na furaha sana kwa sababu ukiona tumevalia hiyo ni ishara ya kuonyesha tumepata ushindi.
Pengine katika uongozi wa Ruto unatarajia ni nini hata anaweza kufanya ili iweze kuhakikisha kwamba taifa hili linapiga hatua kubwa kwa maendeleo?
Asante sana. Tuko na expectations mingi sana kwa president wetu Dr. William Samoei Ruto, sababu tunajua sisi wote tunajua ni hustler na atashika mahasla wote. Mama mboga tunajua wako na ahadi ama mtu atainua kutoka chini mpaka juu.
Asante. Regina, allow me for the purposes of gender interview a lady here. Songa hapa mama, pengine uweze kutueleza unahisi vipi baada ya Ruto kutangazwa na kuwa mshindi, na vile vile kuzungumzia kuhusiana na kuwepo kwa wanawake katika nyadhifa mbalimbali za uongozi, manake hilo limekuwa halijajitokeza, japo wananchi wameweza kuchagua wanawake wengi katika nyadhifa mbalimbali za uongozi kuanzia kwa gavana na kwenda chini. Pengine matarajio yako ni yapi katika uongozi wa Ruto atakapoapishwa?
Asante sana. Kwa majina mimi naitwa Nelly Cheruiyot. Nyumbani ni hapa Sugoi. Tunashukuru kwanza Mungu Mwenyezi kwa maana tulivyoomba akatusikia. Tarajio yangu yenye naambia Ruto, Mungu akusaidie kama vile alikusaidia, utasidi kusaidia wananchi wote, hata kama ni upande wa kina Raila atasaidia huko. Sisi wote ni wa Kenya, tunaomba amani. Tunashukuru Mungu alitupa amani, lakini tunaomba Ruto asaidie kwanza vijana. Kunao vijana wa mapotapota wako na shida sana, tunaomba rais wetu akuja saidia. Kunao mama mboga, ndio unaona hata Mungu alisaidia wamama wengi ndio akachakuliwa, kwa maana anajua uchungu, na sana sana najua wamama wengine nao wanatusikia. Tunasi Ruto sana tusaidie. Kuna watoto wetu walimaliza university wako nyumbani hawana makazi, tunaomba hata akipata nafasi wengine waende ngambo, wengine atuandikie vijana wetu kazi, ndio sisi kutembea tu. Hizo tu ndio naomba Mungu tu amsaidie Ruto, asaidie asimame kabisa imara, aone kila mtu hii Kenya ni yetu sisi wote. Nashukuru.
There you have it, Regina. A number of residents and of course also elected leaders the having high expectation from the President-elect William Samoei Ruto once is sworn in, ranging from a high cost of living, talking of unemployment amongst the youth, talking of fighting the thorn of the rather corruption, which is a thorn in the flesh in the country, and of course a number of issues helping the Mama Mboga. Remember, Ruto has been categorical that those are the people that he will be taking keen interest to help and ensure that they really get development or get assisted to put food on the table. And of course we will be here just to paint a picture. A number of elected leaders, I'm told they will be having a function tomorrow to give thanks to God for granting them an opportunity, having their son in the top seat in the land. From me, Timothy Ekipnosu, I hand you back to studio, Regina Manyara.
Indeed, Timothy, thank you. We can see even from the background, indeed, residents down there in Sugoi are in quite some jubilation there after the verdict was delivered in their favor. Now we want to cross over to Bomat and see if the situation is as in Sugoi Uasin Gishu. Here's Bomet.
There is no loser, kwa sababu watu ambao wamefaidika ni wapiga kura. Wana furaha kwa ile uamuzi ile tumepata kutoka kwa 7 out of 7 to have held the election of our 5th president, none other than William
Now, those were scenes from Bomet there, and also just members of the public expressing their, views in regard to the direction in which the judgment at the Apex Court has taken. Now we go to Migori County. Let's sample also the sights and sounds of Migori. Well, peace, we move as one and deliver on the promises that you made to us during the campaigns. It seems that President-elect William Ruto has his work cut out. Ben?
Indeed, Ray, there, and as you can see, Kenyans, just as they voted peacefully, they are celebrating peacefully. And I would like to engage my lawyer because he has to attend to some other matters. But looking at the two speeches, one by the president-elect and one by Wafula Chebukati, and of course by the Supreme Court, they say that the election conducted by IEBC was free, fair, credible, and verifiable, and actually affirmed that all the 7 judges did that. How do you think Wafula Chebukati is feeling at the moment? Because he has overseen 3 elections, twice in 2017 and now 2022, all which were disputed, but the court has vindicated him.
Oh yes, he must be over the moon now because for the last 7 days he has been very demonized by various voters, and the Supreme Court decision is final. There can be no appeal or any variation. What I'm happy about, and we must say hongera to all Kenyans, everyone wants peace, peace, peace. We be united. We move forward.
All right. I'm informed that we have an issue on your with your microphone, but we are gonna get to that. Let me cross over to the other side and get Wakili's sentiment on the same. How is Wafula Chebukati now feeling? From his statement, he talked about a lot was happening behind the curtains, threats, intimidation, and he talked about 2 officials actually died. And something very interesting he mentioned is none of the civil societies came out to condemn that. I don't know whether Wakili's microphone is okay now? All right.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's hear from Gisore first.
Yes, Bentre, you see, Wafula Chebukati was the man who said everybody was gunning for. And the fact that the court has actually exonerated him or didn't quite find him to be guilty of the things that they were asking, I think it's about time we say that he's like that lady who was brought to Jesus for stoning. And Jesus started writing the sins and people disappeared. So that is how he should be feeling, that his life has been saved, because the man has really worked. The man has really given his best, but Kenyans cannot be really in a position to say that he has done that, but at least the court found it in his favor. Mm-hmm. That is something which you should give him remorse. He's retiring in January, so you will go home a happy man. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't have another election to run to be accused. So yes, he should be the happiest man. About the civil society bit is quite interesting, because he feels the weight that how is it that everyone cannot be able to see it from my side? Mm-hmm. Everybody should be able to point fingers and say that it's me who is the bad person. And I think he should be the happiest man. He will sleep soundly today.
Yes. Wakili,
Yes, in my view, Chebukati must be very happy. I know, or rather I suspect, he must have applied the Maraga Land decision and complied with it to the letter, going by what the judges have ruled. And as I was saying earlier on, the Supreme Court judgment is final. There can be no appeal, there can be no variation, and we have to accept that reality. Every Kenyan must accept that. We now need to move to the next stage of nation building to ensure there is peace. I'm very happy with Kenyans because across the country, including a stronghold of Honorable Raila, everyone says we want peace, we want amani, we want peace and unity. That should be the spirit, because it is a core value under Article 10 of our Constitution, because what is important to us is peace, a peaceful and thriving nation. It is unfortunate that we lost some officers during, in the line of duty. That should never happen again in Kenya. No Kenyan should lose life. No Kenyan should fight each other. No Kenyan should be injured because of electoral processes. And I think we have really gone, a lot of changes have taken place. We are quite far ahead compared to 2017.
And one final one, looking at what IEBC is talking about, and now, yes, we have been given a clean bill of health, and supporters of President-elect are elated and say that indeed we have followed the law and IEBC has been on top of its game. On the other hand, we have supporters of Azimio and Raila Odinga who really take it as a big loss. Yes, indeed it is a loss, but don't we have to look at the other side of how Kenya has won? Because at the end of the day, just as I said earlier on, is that the petitions that Raila has come up with since the year 2013 have worked towards strengthening the democracy and the rule of law. There are so many things. We had a big law lacuna, but now we have some constitutional interpretation brought about by this petition, which will make our electoral process better. We have seen 7 judges today have affirmed that. Going forward, yes, indeed, it is a big loss for Raila Odinga, but a big win for democracy.
Yes, true. In my view, as we await for the final decision, which will be quite a number of pages, that judgment will really help us to do a number of things. It will assist our parliament to come up with legislation to improve our electoral processes. Secondly, that judgment will develop our jurisprudence when it comes to electoral matters. Of course, it has a lot of bearing to multiple other petitions relating to other positions. Also for legal education, it will assist us, and for completeness of record. So we need to thank Honorable Raila for taking us through all these petitions. Of course, no person can describe the laws than former Kakamega Senator Malala. And we must thank him. We must say that he has really contributed to development of electoral processes. Finally, on that aspect, I would like the other courts, the judges of the High Court, judges of the Court of Appeal, also to embrace the issues that have been raised by the Supreme Court for consistent jurisprudence on electoral matters. Thank you.
Indeed, thank you so much, constitutional lawyer Henry Kurauka. We have been here since morning, and thank you so much for your insight. And just as the president-elect has talked about, thank you so much, because ni kujitolea. He talked about all the lawyers in his legal team.
Asante kwa
actually had all the time, and they decided to do it for free. Thank you so much for your insight and for your time. Back to you, Gisore. What does it talk about when you talk about the jurisprudence that is the precedent that is set by the petitions that we've had? Because talking about the Honorable Raila Odinga is that in 2013 and 2 in 2017 and 1 in 2022, all presidential elections. And if you ask me, the presidential petitions, not only do they point out some of the issues that we should be looking at as a country, but it will better the jurisprudence. Looking at the 9 issues, and all judges had affirmed. What can we get from this petition that will aid us to make the 2027 election and all the other elections that may come in between far much better than we've ever had as a country?
I think for me, I would want to first thank Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, because it's because of his temerity that we have been able to even be able to celebrate today's judgment the way we have, because right from 2013 there has been development in terms of jurisprudence at the Supreme Court, that is at the Apex Court, and that has contributed greatly to the changing of our laws to align them with the Constitution. Why I also want to congratulate him further is for having the courage to go to court this time round, because some people could have said, why go to the court? You've been beaten. Why again go to court? But he said, I'm not doing it for Kenya. I did realize that indeed the working of IEBC is not in order. It needs to be fixed. I expect the judgment 2027 at this particular spot will at least be clear on what is expected. So, pointing forward, I'm seeing a situation whereby we're going to have the Supreme Court, or somebody thinking twice before going to the Supreme Court, because if you count your eggs and you realize they are short, you just keep quiet and concede. And that is a situation which we will be happy to have in future. And that is courtesy of the efforts of Raila Amolo Odinga.
Actually, I wanted to toss it back to you, Ray, but perhaps we'll get the final say here on what IEBC Chair Wafula Chebukati has mentioned there. Just shows you or underscores how election matters in Kenya are a matter of life and death, and some of the lessons that he has talked about there is that intimidation, threat and everything. But unfortunately, that is exactly what we've had since the Zacchaeus Chesoni-led Electoral Commission, to the Kivoito-led, to the Isaac Hassan, now to the Wafula Chebukati. But the good thing is that Wafula Chebukati is exiting the electoral body. His head in tested election in the country.
Now, before we even, just throw some spanner into the box, Ben, as well as Wakili here, what has come out very clear during this particular petition is that we have focused on matters ICT. ICT has gravely been mentioned, and the process, the portal and such, and some of the key lessons that we may actually pick on in as far as ICT is concerned. We would say ICT is a good servant, but also a terrible master if it's not used well. When we talk about the constitution of the IEBC, Wakili, in closing, I think this is the second last question posed to you. What are we likely to see now that this is the last election that is going to be officiated by Chair Wafula Chebukati? So it means we have an opening going forth. Now, the use of the use of ICT by IEBC, as the judges said that, well, it was well informed to include efficiency and such. But now, lessons that we can learn from here, allegations of hacking and unhacking, numbers that do not add up. What are we likely to see? What impact is it going to have in as far as ICT resource is concerned in the country?
I think that was put very clearly by the court, and the chairman, Wafula Chebukati, has also highlighted some of the things that they are going back to get reports from the stakeholders, and that he has been very key, and I want to thank him, because part of the success of this election was because he involved stakeholders from the word go. In the previous, he even got a report, even got an audit report of the 2017 election, and even implemented the minor KI case of the 2017. So what we are actually going to see in future, is the fact that ICT is going to play a key role, because with those allegations coming forth, you don't just wish them away ever, that the court did not find them sufficient. It's important to assuage the fears of Kenyans that indeed, from where we stand, the election is going to be clean. And what I'm looking at is the perspective that there's that aspect of contracting smartmatic. I think we're going to see less of that. We're going to see an IBC which I'm foreseeing an IBC which will be given enough resources to have their own system here locally, which will comply with our data regulations, because now if we are keenly to look at whatever it is that they did with Smartmatic, then we raise the issues. Why did we pass the Data Act 2019? Because if we can be able to violate it by having Smartmatic tell us we cannot give you that data, it does not belong to you. You just voted and that is it. Whatever it is you have in the system, that is all you paid for. Basically, that's what they fell short of telling us. Yeah. That, you know, percent umeishia hapo. But then we are going to foresee a situation where we are going to have a data center here, an IBC which will be hosting everything from their own conveyance. They have been asking for money to have their own building. I hope they get it this time, and money to set up their own system which they will be conducting. So that if we want to audit it, we audit it from within here. Now, that would be interesting.
Sorry. We solve ICT problems solved locally.
Yes.
Final question. What is your anticipation for a Ruto presidency, borrowing from the speech that he just made this evening? He said he's ready to be held accountable by an opposition, but as it stands right now, we have already seen Kenya Kwanza assimilate a majority of the independent candidates, and from November, yes, he's going to have the majority at least at the National Assembly.
Yes, we up from the time he was even with Raila Odinga in 2007. He was complaining of the same issues which people are complaining of today. The people on the other side are complaining. But he walked himself out of that. He said, I cannot run for president and be able to come and cry foul. And he said, you're not going to steal my election. I'm going to just go for this and I'm going to win. And he has won. I think he has been vindicated on what he was saying. So first, for me, I think we're going to see a very vibrant leadership from him, because he's a man who leads from the front rather than from the back. Secondly, we are going to see a person who is going to ensure the things which he promised he needs to deliver. He said he's going to give a comprehensive statement later in time, and we are waiting to see whatever it is that you will put his priorities on for the first 100 days. But for me, I think he's a man who loves education. I'm expecting education to be upheld. He's a man who actually is after for the rule of law. I think he has quite mentioned that vehemently, and he's saying he's going to have the criminal justice system deal with the criminals, not start chasing people around for political whims. And that is going to be very interesting, because some people feel that he may not stand for that, but it's his word he has given, so we will expect that he will be able to uphold it. And seeing an independent judiciary with a judicial fund, given that is a constitutional provision, is just effecting it. Already we saw some process start. We just want to see that finalized. And especially there is the issue of the pending judges who had not been sworn. I don't know why people didn't ask that. We should have expected that to come forth, so that he commits himself or says, I'm going to appoint them, or I'm not going to appoint them because of 1, 2, 3. Because under the leadership of Uhuru Kenyatta, we have seen that he has vehemently refused to appoint those judges for reasons which are very personal or particular to him. We couldn't be able to tell, because he has court orders, everything is there. We hope that his leadership will not be able to fall to that particular line. We're also anticipating a situation whereby somebody asked him about the stadiums. He comes from a region where people are pregnant of ideas of running and representing Kenya. We should be able to expect that some stadiums will have to be put up to actually vindicate him from what he had promised under the leadership of Uhuru Kenyatta. And most importantly, first, to start with, he needs to preach peace across the country and bring the country together. That is, I think, that one he doesn't have a choice, because he's a Kenyan president, not
Advocate of the High Court there, Gibson Kisare, who has been gracing our studios from crack of dawn this morning, just helping us understand the legal implications of the decision that has been made by the Apex Court this afternoon. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. We look forward to further engagements. I've been your host, Regina Manyara. Now take it away, Ben Troy.
Indeed, thank you so much, and re-echo what you've just said. Is thank you so much for our viewers who have been keeping a keen eye. We are here early in the morning at about 6, and for following up keenly and maintaining peace. I think that's the most important. And Kenyans, so as to manage their expectations, the government is expected to deliver on all the promises. And I'm quite sure ladies are waiting
waiting for the half cabinet of women. Thank you so much.
There. Good boys gone bad. Eric Omondi has evolved from being a comedian to now being the king clout chaser.
How does a gospel artist make money? Jaguar wept again.
As a celeb, as a followers, but it's a time for artists to make bank.
Yes. How is your relationship with Zari, considering that she dates young?
These are accessories.
They get out of set. Slap the guy.
Yo, what's up? My name is Ted Josiah.
Oh, mashallah.
You sing about serious issues, it will not trend. If you sing about Abiambosi.
No.
Bahati hata kuwa na machozi. Willy Paul ndio alikuwa anatoa machozi.
For your beat these boys with stones. Let's all be logic. Yesu washukangi chini analeta pesa.
Musicians are missing the point.
Do we sip water?
You are watching Pop Culture with Adhiambo with a Y.
Kupata mithali 6:20 kama sikiza tune kwenye simu yako, bonyeza *811 *817#.
Methali 6:20. Mwanangu, shika maagizo ya baba yako, wala usisahau mafundisho ya mama yako. Yaweke daima moyoni mwako, yafunge shingoni mwako, yatakuongoza njiani mwako.